Hello again, YouTube. This is the Truth Man giving you the truth. The channel is the No Matrix, No Simping, all subjects channel. On this video, I'm kind of piggybacking off some other videos I saw in which the topic was how America is toxic. And I want to make a couple videos today about why. Like, not gonna go 6-7 videos, but I'm gonna talk about it, and I might try to number it later. I'm gonna try to remember how many I say. If I can't remember, then I won't number it. I'll just title it some other way. But let's get into this. Why is America so toxic? Why is America toxic, being the richest country in the world, being probably could have been the freest country in the world, and at different points in history it probably was, but now not so much. So let's get into why is America so toxic. The first reason why America is so toxic is the hypocrisy of the people. What do I mean by this? Like, this how people is. And it's not just black, it's not just white. It's a whole wide array of people. People will get mad at you for being right about something that they don't want you to be right about, that they don't agree with. They'll hold grudges against you. They'll make it hard for you to be on these jobs. They'll make it hard for you to protest, to be out on the street, because they, of their own feelings, because if you're right and they're wrong, but they don't want to say they're wrong, they don't want to view their viewpoint as wrong, then that's where the trouble is going to come from. So the number one is hypocrisy. Hypocrisy in the church. You got a lot of stuff that I preached when I first started connecting with the Most High, I don't preach no more, because I found out that a lot of it is false and it's leading to hypocrisy. Case in point, a lot of the stuff about grace that if you go to my old channel, you'll see me preaching it too, that I found out over time in dealing with the Most High and studying the book, studying the meaning of these words, that grace is something totally different than what is taught by many. So the hypocrisy in the church, hypocrisy in the workplace, hypocrisy in the everyday life is the number one reason I believe is America is toxic. Now, if it's not number one, then it's up there. Number two is backwards thinking, which kind of is in line with hypocrisy. I want to tell y'all something about a word, but I don't want nobody to copy, so I'm gonna wait. But even some of the words, when you look at them backwards, it shows you that what this word is, the other way, is basically telling you that you're living backwards. The backwards thinking. Backwards thinking, there is no God. Loving people like Scarface. Yeah, I laugh at Scarface, and I think a lot of his quotes were good, but I don't have them on my wall. I don't elevate a fictional character, which that's gonna be on this list too. I don't elevate a fictional character like Scarface and think that he was somebody. Superfly, Scarface. We're gonna get into that. But backwards thinking. The stuff that is harmful to the body, you like. The people that's harmful to the body, you like. Backwards thinking. Looking at what's evil as good, and looking at what's good as evil. Backwards thinking is number 2. Number 1 is hypocrisy, line in line with number 2, which is backwards thinking. Number 3 is the emulation of fictional characters and movies. What do I mean by this? In the United States, people will copycat off of killers, drug dealers, pimps, this, that, and the other, instead of you don't know how to, okay, let's see what he's talking about. Oh, that was good. That's interesting. I can use that. But instead, they elevate the person in general, which means that you condone the behavior, which goes back in line with number 1, hypocrisy, number 2, backwards thinking. Number 3, like I said, is the emulation and exaltation of fictional characters, evil characters. Doughboy from Boys in the Hood was a gang member. Okay, and what happened in Boys in the Hood? They were showing us his brother got, took out, who was trying to do right. He tried to avenge him, and they were showing us, look, never in this cycle. It said 2 weeks later, Doughboy was deleted, basically. That's what it said in words at the end of the movie. So, but we see guys trying to mimic, and girls, these characters, which in turn makes the cities more toxic, more dangerous. Man, I'm just trying to survive. The first place I heard that was in a movie. I can't remember which one. You in survival mode. What are you, a hyena? You live in the United States. You don't have to be, but you know why they are? Because they're trying to live. Let me go over here. These 2 police over here. I don't hate police, so I don't got nothing against them. It's just sometimes they do start bothering people. They do. That's not, and I'm gonna get away from them because it's 2 squads, and they normally be over here where I be at, but that's the time when they bother people. So these guys try to do what they see on film. Nino Brown put a kid in the way so he wouldn't get shot. The same attitude as people who will shoot up a house with kids in it. All of this stuff makes it toxic. Then I work in the jail, so you can't tell me. They come to jail and they act like they ain't did nothing. And like I used to give them this look and they'll just start laughing. Because they'll be like, man, I ain't do nothing. But they did. So that's number 3. Number 4 is evil ideologies. I ain't gonna get into them by name because all they're gonna do is try to shadow ban it, which is on this list as well. Evil ideologies, let me turn this way. Things that people think are okay that are not okay, that ruin everyday life. Those trains of thought ruin everyday life. I'm not gonna get into them individually because I already know what they're gonna try to do. Which brings me to the next one. Embracement of evil. How many serial killers are in prison getting fan mail? This, y'all see how they all connected? They exalt false characters. They embrace evil in general. I was just watching a short about John Gotti. And they say when Gotti came into prison, people was like, "Oh man, you're the greatest. You need anything." If I go into prison, they're gonna be whistling, talking about fresh meat, and some of them be trying to provoke me. And be like, "Yeah, okay." But with him, "Hey man, you need anything? This, that, and the other." The embracement of evil. We grew up with watching horror movies and stuff like that. And we embrace it. Cause let's be honest, I'm the truth, man. I'm gonna tell you the truth. There was a lot of Halloweens that I missed. But when I heard them say, "Well, we're gonna end this series soon," I watched the last couple. I used to Friday 13th, Halloween. I never saw any of the Saws. Then next, violence. We got boxing, we got MMA. Like, you come to this area, it's kickboxing, karate, all these fighting gun ranges and stuff. Well, gun range, I don't see nothing wrong with that as long as you got the right train of thought. But the violence, it's violence in the music, violence in the movies, violence in the way people think. You got to think violent to make it. People who think violent to make it, I'm not talking about them. Self-defense violence, that's not what we're talking about. Because that's not what's making America toxic. What's making America toxic is the random violence. The violence from robberies, the violence connected to being in different groups, so on and so forth. That's what's making it toxic. The next thing is kind of along what I said about the ideologies. The rejection of traditional relationships is making America toxic. I gotta say it like this, but I gotta figure out how I'm gonna say this. The show ain't for kids. Somehow guys think that sex with a woman they don't know or not connected to is just as good, if not better, than if they were in a relationship trying to get married or married. Y'all see how we connecting these dots? Watch what the next one be. You're gonna be shocked. So, the rejection of traditional relationships, which is connected to the acceptance of false ideologies and evil ideology. Traditional relationships are a man, a woman, married. The man is the head, the woman is the help. They work together. They grow their fondness towards each other over time. They're loyal. For a man, it's if he has one woman and he's telling her he's monogamous, he sticks to her. If he's polygynous, he sticks to the women that he chooses. And they all know about each other. They know each other. They know what's done. Ain't no secrets. Polygyny is traditional relationship. So when you reject polygyny, that's one of the reasons why you got all of these broken homes. Because originally in polygyny, it wasn't that many women left in the town. Every woman that could think, could understand, if she was fat, if she was skinny, whatever it was, somebody made her either a wife or a concubine. Now it's, I gotta be the only one. I get to be the only one. I'm not getting rid of he a pervert. Why you gotta do all that? The rejection of traditional relationships. Next is the courts. Now let me clarify myself on this one. When criminals are sentenced, that's justice. That's not what we're talking about. But what we're talking about is the family court, is divorce court, is everything associated with that. The tickets that people get where they pass laws that don't really have much to do with anything, but now you on pins and needles because you kind of low on money. You couldn't renew your insurance, or your brake light is out, or there's that. And here, I'm gonna tell you, and I felt anger coming. I felt it coming in, and this is why. There are police officers, and y'all know I'm defending police. I don't believe in getting rid of them. But there are some in this area in particular that they always messing with people over trivial stuff and giving them tickets. Like my brother-in-law got crucified for being honest. Forgot to renew his license, CCW, and boy, they tried to fry him. So make sure you always pay that little money to renew. So the courts are, in most cases, other than the criminal cases where a person is guilty actually is taken off the streets, every other aspect of it is like damaging to people's finances. And then the lawyers and the judge sometime in divorce court, they probably know each other from school or from this person or mutual friends through that person. And you got to go against all this. It's pimp game. They might as well come in there with a fur coat, with a mink. So the courts is damaging. The courts is damaging. Next is economic fraud. Scammers. We got like a few minutes left. Scammers. In some states, the lottery is fraudulent. They be catching that money. They be purposely running away from people's numbers. I know they be checking those numbers. And then this is how you ever played the lottery and your number that you had the night before, you didn't play it the next day and came in, economic fraud. You go to a casino and realistically if that was working perfectly fair, people will win more. I'm not telling you not to gamble. Like this stuff, that kind of stuff is fun. But you got to watch how you got to try not to overdo it because economic fraud and the stocks, insider trading, all that. That's why I got stocks. I got Bitcoin, but I don't go crazy with that stuff because of economic fraud. That's one of the things that's making America toxic because grifters, fraudsters, they still see themselves as better than you, which also is creating that toxic environment. Next is crime. Crime everywhere. Crime, you got dudes that they think it's cool to do crime. I was doing it. I heard them, man. I worked in jails. I sit back and used to let them talk just to understand them more and to know what's going on. Man, I hit the guy. I hit it on them. Crime. When you gotta live around these, if you like me and you live in a city where you seeing these dudes every day, That's toxic. The feeling you get, that's toxic. It's toxic. Like having to live around these guys every day and how they be looking when they just looking for somebody to bother. Some stores you can't even go to without an underage kid asking you to buy a blunt. That's making America toxic. Children of the corn, teenagers, drug addict older people, know-it-alls that don't know nothing. Some of this stuff is on this list. We're going to wrap this up in 2 minutes. So the crime, violence, poor relationships, courts, let's go back on this list. Next thing, racism. Racism. It's like it's on both sides. It's everywhere. Like black people, some black people don't like black people. Some black people don't like white people, but they don't like black people either. And you can hear them on YouTube. Like they try to act like we having this conference, we having that conference. Next, out of the side of their mouth, they cussing a black person out and threatening violence. I don't get all, y'all saw my video yesterday. I don't get off into that, man. I'm no Matrix. White people thinking they better than blacks, making America toxic. Black people trying to confront white people for thinking they better than blacks, making America toxic. Black people who try to fit in with white people because they got a little money, making America toxic. But that, last but not least, the wealth disparity. The wealth disparity, like that goes back to the economic fraud somehow too. So the wealth disparity creates an arrogance that leads to a toxic attitude towards some. We're gonna stop there. We got plenty more. I might even break down the notes if I keep talking about it. I'm thinking about making another video about this, but that's what's making it toxic. Thanks for watching. Keep tuning in. This is The Truth Man. The channel is the No Matrix, No Simping, All Subjects channel.